Welcome to Chris Parkin Shooting Sports. I've been through to Swillington today. There's a gun arrived for me from GMK. Now this is a Sako 90 and this is the adventure model. I'm not sure where the review will be appearing of this rifle yet. Could be on my channel, could be on Gunmark TV. I will keep you updated, but here is the gun. So what do we get? We get an instruction manual. In here we've got nothing. There's a Torx wrench there, looks like a T25. That is a bolt decocking tool. Let's just take all these bits out now because that will be the bolt there. Just put that to one side for a moment. Take the rifle out. We get some sling swivel studs there. Put those there and I shall just get this out of the way. Blank the camera screen. So this is the rifle. Now that is, by the looks of it, synthetic stock. Fairly base model by the look of it, but let's just see what this has got going for it because there's already some interesting features on it. Let's just pop the bolt in. That is a 3-lug bolt. We've got 2 ejector pins now on these Sako 90 bolts, which gives you, it doubles up. So if one of them breaks, you've always got a spare in an emergency situation. Yeah, we've still got the right side extractor claw there to make sure it draws the case out the chamber. Nice bolt handle on it. It's not too long. You get a good fast bolt stroke with these without it being overly complicated or too much leverage. Let's just make sure that's on fire there. So that should go in now. It does. So 3 lugs, 60-degree handle lift. That feels pretty slick and smooth. Right, start at the front. That is threaded for a moderator or brake. That looks like, I don't know, is that a 17 by 1 or a 5/8 something? We shall see it in momentarily in instructions. I quite like this hard finish on it, this dark finish. It's like a sort of graphite colour. That might be a Cerakote style finish, but we shall see. We'll have a look in the details when I come through the full review. Fluted barrel, lightweight, and it's got fully floating all the way back to the receiver, and that is quite stiff, so that shouldn't be a problem if you shoot it off a bipod. Bipod will fit on the sling stud there. Now there is a kind of soft touch finish on these to this underside surface here, and similarly on the grip. We've got slightly, it's got like these sort of faceted scales on it to give you a little bit more grip perhaps, and it's quite a square feel to the base of that. So it's going to sit well in your hand. I say this is a sporting rifle. Next stage, we have got Picatinny mounts on the action, so that should be no trouble for fitting any kind of rings, no problem at all there. Bolt releases on the left side, that will just pop out there. And if we remember, I did a review on the 90 Peak, which is the carbon fibre version. This has got a little thing there so that without that pressed in, the bolt handle can't close. You can't decock the bolt accidentally. Just pop that down there. Safety catch, forward for fire, rear for safe. And if I put it on the rear setting, push that button down there, that should allow the bolt to open still. So there we go. Right, other factors here. We have got a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stage weight adjustable trigger. The trigger is a single stage. Sako trigger is usually pretty good, and that one is certainly very crisp, quite light there. I'll measure that, weigh that for the full review. Now the magazine pops out there, and we've got a 5-round magazine, twin column, so you can just load them in the top. You can load them either in the gun or out of the gun. Just trying to see if there's anything obviously special about this. Does it need the magazine pressing in? Yes, you do. You need to press the magazine in to actually get the release latch to work there. So if I push that in and try and drop that out, it won't drop out unless I actually push the magazine down slightly, and that will then drop out. That is fine. Trigger blade, it's quite an interesting looking trigger blade. It's flat actually, it's very flat, quite broad. There's no serration at all on the what looks like an aluminium trigger actual blade there. So the bottom metal is metal. I'm pretty sure that's going to be aluminium, and that's got the adjustment. You can go through there to use that T25 Torx, which I showed in the box, which will adjust your trigger mechanism. It looks like the trigger itself, the trigger blade itself, is actually adjustable. There's a little Allen key fitting there which will allow you to slide that back and forward slightly to give yourself the perfect reach from the sort of throat of the grip. So that's all looking very good. Just pop that magazine back in. This is a 308 rifle. It will no doubt be available in a multitude of calibers, specifically the 6.5 Creedmoor, which is the popular one these days. Right, looking at the stock now, we have got an adjustable cheek piece. So if I press that button down on the side, this will go up and down. It's got teeth on it there, so it makes it lock in position quite securely. There's no memory function on it specifically, but I don't think that's going to be a huge deal, because the best thing to do is just put a bit of electrical tape around, zip tie even just around there, so that every time if you take it out, you just pop it straight back down, you know exactly where it goes. One thing I do specifically like about that is it's a nice slim cheek piece, so it's going to fit under your cheekbone without displacing your jaw to the side. I don't like really fat cheek piece, massive wide things that you've got to, you know, really roll your head over to get any kind of position on them. I think they're really uncomfortable, and I think everybody who goes, oh, cheek weld, cheek weld, cheek weld, I'm not sure it's actually as aspirational as you want in those scenarios when you've got your whole head deformed out of comfortable position. So, comes up very nicely. Length of pull on that, we shall measure that for the full review. But the Sako system, you'll be able to probably replace the recoil pad on that. It's about 1 inch thick, 25mm thick, solid recoil pad. It's grippy, it's smooth finish, goes into your shoulder quite well, seems to grip all right. Sling stud on the bottom there, and of course if you need to, you can got a nice sloped underside there to just give yourself a palm rest or a fist rest if you've got a comfortable sort of prone shot on that. Right, that will be getting a full review done on it. Whether it's on my channel or on Gunmark TV, we shall see, but let's have a look in the extra box and see what they have sent with it. I don't know the prices on any of these items, so please, you know who to ask. It's not me. That's not it's all about seeking your local resource. So in here we have got a Stalon sound moderator, we've got some Burris XTR signature rings, and a Steiner scope. Let me just get rid of this box. I don't think I'm going to break that in any way. Let's look at the scope first then. Steiner range of 4. I've used these before. Good solid scope. This is a 60-24 by 56. Possibly not the ideal specification for a stalking rifle, but it will certainly do the trick. Certainly for a test gun, it will allow you better sort of targeting capabilities to shoot the best groups on target, because I know everybody's absolutely delightfully obsessed by what's the best group and nothing else at all, which to me is a little bit pointless, because groups are very nice, but they're not really the proof of a rifle in my opinion, or certainly not what's going to tell you the most about it from an external point of view. Here we are, range 4, hard anodized tube. We've got, you know, scope reviews never do very well on YouTube because there's not a lot you can tell, and the thing is, what you can see through a scope other than the reticle picture and whether it's, you know, okay or not, it's very, very personalised scope image, and there's a lot of things about that I could tell in a huge great discussion. That's got good solid stops at the end, it doesn't feel squidgy at all. Rotates through, just double check, it's probably second focal plane, it is second focal plane. Parallax adjustment on the left side, it goes down. It's certainly marked well below 50, but we shall see what it really does down to on that one. Illumination on the side, and we've got elevation and windage as expected. Hopefully this will be centimetre clicks, and it is. Let's just see how those feel. Yeah, it's not really a target dialing scope, but you can certainly feel the clicks fine. As I say, it's a hunting scope more than anything, although I think I'd probably drop the specification to a 3-12 56 rather than a 6-24 56 for a hunting scope, but that's my personal choice. Just pop that out of the way for a second. Right, these are very interesting. These are Burris XTR signature rings. I actually own a few sets of these. They're very, very good. Usual Picatinny fitting, but these have got additional supplemental rose joints in the package here, so you can swap the inserts in these rings to give you elevation, and the exact elevation it adds depends slightly on the spacing between the rings on your receiver, but these can allow you to really fine-tune an optic. I don't think on a sporting rifle they're necessarily massively useful, because you're not generally going to go hashtag long range for everything, are you? But they do certainly give some versatility. I have actually got most of these in use. I put my night vision illuminators on them because I can pop that on the scope, and of course I've got, because it's like a rose joint, so it's like a spherical thing inside here, you can aim that exactly where you want it, and then you just lock the rings down. And it does mean in a scope scenario there's no stress whatsoever applied to the scope tube. So let's just see if we can put this back together here. I shall be mounting all this up at some point, hopefully going shooting tomorrow. As many of you know, my regular viewers, I've been away travelling here, there and everywhere for the last month or so. I've hardly had any chance to do any shooting, and it's raining everywhere, it's muddy everywhere, and it's not exactly camera friendly, but we can get out shooting at least. And this is the Stalon moderator. Stalon moderators are usually pretty effective. Now this will probably tell me which thread it is. It's a 15x1, so I'm presuming they've sent me the correct thread for the rifle, and that will go on. You can, if you want to, have the rear bushings on these Stalon moderators opened up specifically for the barrel of the rifle you're using. We shall see if this one, I don't necessarily always bother doing that. I don't think it makes a huge benefit, to be honest, as long as they're on tight, and a 15x1 thread usually gives us a good solid fixture, so that will be going on there. Looks very much in keeping with the rifle, so I'll be putting a Harris bipod on that, put the scope on that, let's take it shooting. Like I say, we might even get it taken shooting tomorrow. Right, please like, subscribe, comment, click the notification bell, and we shall see if this rifle's full review appears on my channel. But if it doesn't appear on my channel, I will put a link on this video to the Gunmark TV review, which will be where it's appearing. I'm very confident in this. The Sako 90, my first ever rifle actually was a 75, was a Sako 75 many years ago. The Sako 90 I reviewed the other week was the Peak, which is the carbon stock. It's a very nice rifle. It was 100% functional. I couldn't be Mr. Picky Parkin about it at all because there was nothing wrong with it at all. This is simply the same mechanics, but it's got a slightly less expensive polymer stock on it, which I think to a lot of people, you know, really is the benchmark of a rifle, because it's the base level tool. Will it do the job? Will it shoot well enough on paper? And of course, with it being a polymer, it's going to be a bit cheaper. It's going to take the knocks, it's going to take the bashes, it's going to get scratched, it's going to get used, it's going to get lived with. I want to know a little bit more about this coating. I won't be able to murder test it, but I can certainly report back on what it is. I suspect it's some form of Cerakote. Having the Picatinny mount on the action has been a great step forward for Sako with this 90. And if I'm brutally honest, I never liked the extractor and ejection system on the Sako 85, which had the sort of semi-controlled feed. This is a push feed, and it's got those 2 ejector plungers, and it was super reliable on the Sako 90 Peak, and I don't see any reason why it won't be here. And quite frankly, I rather like the look of that rifle. It exudes quality without being sort of excessively showy. So there we go. Right, thank you for watching. Bye for now.